New Sprint Ride Option podcast. The 49ers lose to the Seahawks. We'll touch on that as quickly as we can. Kyle and John said some words today. We will be talking all about it here, right here, youtube.com. Jason Aponte, hit the music.
Burnt. Burnt. I have to say real quick, Andrew. This comment, it came in at 6:10 a.m.
Love it.
So I want to actually commend the hate. I'm actually really proud of that, and Seahawks fans get to say whatever they want to us until we change that.
Yeah, the San Francisco 49ers, as you all may know, we're not breaking any news here. Jason Aponte, the 49ers fell to the Seattle Seahawks on Saturday, 41-6. I don't know. I know you're more of a Simpsons guy. I don't know how much you know of Family Guy lore.
I watched. That's all I've been binging right now is Family Guy.
I kind of just want this the review to be like, and now we go to Ollie Williams with the 49ers Seahawks review.
It gonna rain.
It sucked.
Yeah.
It sucked. And then they just cut back to Tom Tucker. Like that's really all I want.
He gonna get it.
It's rated sideways.
It's rated side. Everybody looks like ants.
God, I love Ollie Williams. No. So Saturday didn't go exactly how we may have wanted it to go, dare I say. It was a game that was over in the first 13 seconds.
Crazy,
literally,
right?
because the 49ers only scored 6 points. 7 points was enough. The Seahawks had that within the first 13 seconds. We then got to see maybe a top or a bottom 5 Kyle Shanahan play call. I will never forget that option run on 4th and 1. That's
to the short side of the field.
Short side of the field. Hey, listen, anytime you have a 4th and 1, the first movement of the ball should always be sideways, not forward. Go sideways every time.
And hand it to you. When I said Kyle Juszczyk needed to have a big game, Kyle Shanahan,
yes.
I did not mean hand the football off to him, okay?
That's how you know Kyle. Like that's the number one tell of how you know a Kyle Shanahan play call is too cute, is if it starts with Kyle Juszczyk getting a handoff. That is entirely too cute of a call. I don't really know where to go with it. I think it kind of falls into the same category as the Week 18 game, where the Seahawks are just a better team, and
sure.
It is what it is.
For sure.
If you want to deal with the cope, if you want to be like me and kind of cope with it, Seahawks 0-1 this season against the 49ers team that was fully healthy, but we could maybe run with that. But outside of that, it really felt like the first game of the season that the injuries caught up to the Niners. They flat out did not have enough to compete with the team. And as we kind of talked about on Friday with our guy Bryce, didn't really matter if Sam Darnold was healthy for that game because it didn't rely on Sam Darnold. They relied on the Seattle run game. And that's really all it was, is the Niners got their ass beat by the Seattle Seahawks. And it's a bummer of a way for the season to end, but it happened. And you know what? We have the Eagles game. That's kind of my big takeaway.
You know, that's funny. I said that yesterday with Steph. I was like, this season ended with a loud thud. And I've never seen a playoff game be over within 13 seconds. So it was after the kickoff where I was just like, yep, it's going to be one of those games. Yep. That's it. Mm-hmm. Jordan James, you guys wanted to see him on the field. Okay, well, then stop jumping out of your lane on special teams. You're supposed to stay outside. And as soon as you give Rashid Shaheed even that little bit, Eddie Pinheiro did the right thing by trying to trip him because you could stop, you get the tackle and then you just get 15 yards, but they don't score a touchdown. So it was the right thing to do. But yeah, it is what it is. Seattle, they deserve to be where they are. They beat the shit out of the 49ers, and the 49ers are not ready. The 49ers have to catch up now. The tide is kind of flipped now, and it's gone from the 49ers taking back over the rivalry to having to take it back over. And the 49ers have a lot to do this offseason. So 100%. I do want to say this, though. Stop playing with my fucking Indiana Hoosiers.
Yeah. Shout out the Hoosiers. That was a good football game. That was a quality football game. Indiana holds on to beat Miami. It was 27-21. Fernando Mendoza is so good, and I hope the Raiders I hope the Raiders so badly don't ruin him. But yeah, it is so like that 5 minutes to start the game because and I'm including the minutes before the game started of a thriller. You finish with a thriller between the Broncos and the Bills. It's an overtime classic. It's a great game. A lot of things going on in it. And you sit down and you're like, okay, let's settle in. Let's get this game going. Let's go Niners. And then Rashid Shaheed it was like a balloon pop. And I'm the only one sitting in my living room watching this game, obviously. But I could feel the air being let out of my own apartment building. And from there, it was bad. 17-0 at the end of the first quarter. Very bad. I don't know how much more there is to say necessarily about it, because it was just that bad, and the defense wasn't great. It was a bad experience, Jason, and I'm happy. I'm not happy. No, that's the wrong word. It was going to happen at some point. Like, it kind of felt like the wheels were going to fall off at some point. I
Hmm.
wish it didn't happen against the Seahawks in that loud of a thud.
Yeah.
But man, that is as loud of a thud as I've seen any 49ers team go down with.
Well, I mean, I guess the silver linings is, and Colin John spoke today. That's going to be really the crux of what we're talking about,
Yes.
today. But the 49ers just need speed on offense. It's the only way to really beat the Seattle defense. I mean, you can't go out there, with the wide receiver core that you're running out there and think that you're going to be able to beat a team with this much speed. They just do everything well on defense. They're well coached. Their scheme is refined. They've got athletes. It's gonna take the 49ers being able to have some speed again, right? And it begs the question, where's Jordan Watkins? What's up with Jacob Cowan? Ricky Pearsall had a catch and then he didn't in this one. You do need guys who are going to be able to stretch the field and be able to do things like that. And I was kind of glad to hear them acknowledge that, even if they did acknowledge something that I think is really fucking stupid in this press conference as well too, or whatever. And I think you know what I'm alluding to. But in terms of like building this team, I'm really happy that they were able to say that and acknowledge that because it was evident. Anybody with eyes, you don't have to be a football X's and O's guy. You don't have to be a former NFL player, former coach to know that the 49ers were beat by speed and beat by their own lack of speed and beat by the speed on the Seattle's defense, man. Like, I haven't even watched the film yet. I don't have to. I just remember what happened. Every single thing was hard, and again, it looked just like Week 18. And literally what we were saying all week. If that game looks like that again, where it was in Week 18, where everything is a struggle, every yard is a struggle, it's not going to be good. And that's exactly what happened. So you just tip your cap to Seattle, man. They deserve to be where they are. That's why they won so many games, and that's why they're going to be around for a little while. So here we go. We're back in the saddle. The 49ers and Seattle rivalry is back on. It's not a rivalry when one side is just whipping the other team's ass. It's a rivalry now again because they've gotten their get back on us, and now we've got to get our get back. So yeah, it's back on. Richard Sherman's got to take care of some stuff and pick a side, man. He can't be waffling here.
No, he can't. And yeah, listen, it was the speed is absolutely the correct mention. And really, the only difference between the Week 18 game and the divisional round game was Seattle took advantage of their opportunities. That's
Hmm.
really the only difference because Seattle, as we said, probably should have won that Week 18 game, 24-3,
By way more.
and it was because of just them not being able to capitalize. That's what happens when you capitalize. And I think out of all the worst things to happen, uh and I see Rod, our guy Rod, in here talking Rams and all that. Watching Cooper Cup beat the shit out of the Niners once again,
Ja-
that wasn't fun. I didn't need
Jackson
that.
Smith and Jigba. Did you even play?
Yeah, 3 receptions, 19 yards for Jackson Smith and Jigba, and it's Cooper Cup. Like the Seahawks were going to win that game whether Cooper Cup had a big game or not. I didn't need Cooper Cup having a big game just to remember of all the times he torched the Niners. So that wasn't cool. Shout out Eddie Pinheiro, I guess. 100% of the points against the Seahawks the last 2 games. So that's cool. That's really nifty. I thought Brock Purdy had about as good of a game as he could have
He
had.
tried his best, man.
He was out there doing everything he could. He led the team in rushing yards, which goes to show. And I think there's a Christian McCaffrey conversation to be had in this offseason. Don't know what the conversation exactly is right now.
But shout out to
But
him, man. He's a warrior.
he great Niner, all-time Niner. I like absolutely. But there's absolutely a conversation to have about him, whether it's moving off of him or just something. Don't know what it is yet. It's too early.
Jordan James looked good.
Jordan James looked fantastic in his 6 carries, 28 yards. So I mean that's as good of an average as the Niners have seen all season from any of their running backs. So that's good. But yeah, other than that, I kind of just want to throw this game away. Forget about it. You got anything else before we talk about words that were said today?
No, this offseason is going to be predicated on what you get from your draft class from last year. What's up with CJ West and Alfred Collins? Alfred Collins, we found out, popped his shoulder out. What else is new? Shout out to Christian McCaffrey, man. He fought through everything, man. This team would be nowhere without him. I think, again, when you make mistakes like that, you have the time just fumble. I'm not blaming Brock Purdy a minute for this game at all. The offensive line got bullied. I think it's time to sound the alarm now Maybe I'm a little late to the party. Let's draft offensive linemen and let's start to build there again. But the 49ers desperately need to address the wide receiver position. They can't go into this next season, and if Jawan Jennings wants a bunch of money, then let him walk. But you need guys that are going to be able to, one, get themselves open, two, stretch the field, three, catch the fucking football. That's one of the better things that they need to do. So yeah, you got to figure out what's going on with your defense now, because their new defensive coordinator is already in house. I've got words to say about that I'm not
Mhm.
happy about. But yeah, I mean, we can move on to the end of the year press conference that Colin John had today.
Well, let's start with that then, because that is really the biggest news of the Niners week so far. Robert Saleh, he is leaving the 49ers. He's going to go head coach the Tennessee Titans, which I think it's a good spot. I think it's one of those sneaky jobs. I think they have a good defense set up already, especially with Jeffrey Simmons, right? We saw how good he is
Yeah.
when the Niners played the Titans, especially as a receiver. He had one of those plays as well, right? But Saleh's gone. He's going to go to Tennessee. Before we really talk about the Niners aspect of it, what are your thoughts about Saleh going out there to Tennessee?
Yeah, good for him, man. It would have been kind of cool if he would have, taken an offensive coordinator with him. Mike McDaniel with Jim Harbaugh is
Oh,
very interesting. Oh
yeah.
baby, oh
Jim's
baby.
adapting a little bit.
Hey,
That's a
hey,
very different offense than we're used to seeing him run.
hey, and you know how I feel about Harbaugh or whatever. But Coach Mike over there with Omarion Hampton, and Justin Herbert, oh baby, that is a potential to be very fun. I'm just interested to figure out who's going to be the offensive mind, because I think Salah obviously is a defensive minded guy, but he's one of those rally the troops guys.
Yeah.
Cam Ward needs like someone who's an offensive mind to be there. Who's that going to be? Is it going to be Matt Nagy? Is it going to be this guy? Is it going to be that guy? I don't know. It's just strange for me if I'm the Titans. I mean, I don't blame Robert Saleh for taking that job, because they have what, the second pick in the draft again.
Oh,
After they,
let me look at the
yeah,
draft order. I can get you that
they've got a
exact
high
number.
draft pick. They've got Cam Ward, but I'm kind of shocked that the Tennessee Titans didn't go with an offensive minded coach. So it's going to be interesting to figure out who's their offensive coach, and their offensive coordinator. So he could say Kubiak. Yeah, I mean that makes sense too as well. But yeah, um, you know what? Thank you, Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
We thought that it was going to be quick, but for the 49er fans that are a little disappointed, and if we're talking about being greedy, we don't get any comp picks for that. So yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, it just now it leaves this open spot that
Hmm.
I'm just,
And we'll get into that quote here in a
yeah.
second.
hmm
Tennessee selects fourth in the draft
That's not bad.
this year, not too bad. And then also too, I think the Chargers, obviously furthest thing from my mind right now. I think the Chargers are my leading candidate for a Hard Knocks team.
They
I just
better
want to
be.
see. I just
Well, they
want to
made the
see.
playoffs.
Is that I forget all the
Yeah, it
qualifications.
has to be a team that didn't make the playoffs.
Ah,
Yeah. I mean, they still should do it. All right, if they want to do it, they should pick the team that is the most interesting out of the unplayoff teams. Unplayoff teams is not even really a word. For the training camp, but they should do their division.
yeah. I just need
For
as
during the
many
season.
cameras on every McDaniel Harbaugh
And
conversation.
Harbaugh interaction. Oh my God,
Yes,
man, that's the
that
odd
that
couple.
is that is elite television waiting to be
Yeah.
made. So
I'm
I
I'm
need it
s-
all.
I'm surprised, honestly, and I'm impressed. That was the right move for the
Yeah,
Chargers, and
and it came out of nowhere because I don't think I saw the Chargers in on him.
I don't think anybody really linked the two together. But man, that is going to be fun. That's going to be fine holiday fun. That team, man. Oh man.
So let's get to the Niners angle on this, and it's a quote from Kyle Shanahan on the DC options and Gus Bradley's candidacy, and I'm gonna let Jason kind of cook on this here a little bit. I wouldn't say a quote. I wouldn't say it's a real wide net, but I mean Gus is the obvious one to everyone, and it is to us too. Gus would be the main internal candidate. I feel very fortunate to get Gus and great about that. But also, we are going to go through the whole process. There's requirements we have to do and stuff that we want to do also. So hopefully we can get it settled sooner rather than later. But I see it working throughout the next week on it. And listen, I think I'm in the same boat as a lot of Niner fans. I'm not exactly thrilled with the idea of Gus Bradley. It's not that he's a bad defensive mind. It's none of that. It's just more the teams lack of wanting to take a big swing at defensive coordinator. And I don't know how much of it is the Steve Wilkes thought, because that was really their last big swing at defensive coordinator. Ended up not working, but you go from Saleh to Ryans, which is a good internal hire. You go from Ryans to Wilkes that last 1 year, and then you instantly turtle by settling on Nick Sorensen, and then obviously Robert Saleh becomes available again. But my issue with the Gus Bradley thing, again, not necessarily a Gus Bradley issue. I'm gonna let Jason kind of dive in a little bit more on that because you know the scheme better than I do. This is a defensive coordinator realm or a landscape right now where Jim Schwartz is available, where Brian Flores
he's still under contract
available.
with Cleveland,
Still under
and
contract,
there's rumblings that they're going to say that he might be their head coach. But I would absolutely love Schwartz. He would be at the top of the list.
His name's been not available, but his name's been rumbling around, right, as a potential going somewhere else. And also too, if they hire some other head coach, there's a chance that that new coach wants his own guys and Schwartz can become available. There's Raheem Morris, and again, the name that I kind of was intrigued by that I didn't think was super realistic was Brian Flores, and he's back with Minnesota unless he gets a new head coach job. So Jason, I don't necessarily like the idea of settling on Gus Bradley just because he's in-house and he's been here for a year. But I want to hear your angle on it because, as I said, you know the schematics and the scheme and all that stuff better than me. So what's your angle on the Gus Bradley thought?
Well, first of all, I want to say that the 49ers have shown that they're going to be aggressive when it comes to trying to get defensive coordinators. They tried to pry Steve Spagnuolo away from the Chiefs. Didn't work. They even went to Bill Belichick. So the 49ers have shown before that they will, they'll go after big names, right? I guess the frustration that everybody has is that Kyle should have his own Spags or his own Fangio or his own, like, one of the top minds, right? Mm-hmm. And I just feel like no matter what the situation was, and this is what's frustrating to me, whatever the situation was with all those other coaches, they were just always going to stick with Gus Bradley. And here's the best way to put it, and this is like objective, X's and O's, this isn't my opinion. If you're not a fan of cover 3, cover 4, soft zone, bend but don't break, if you're not a fan of those things, then you're not going to like Gus Bradley. Because he literally is the godfather of that. Meaning, the reason that his reputation is so high was he was the DC for the Seattle Seahawks in 2009 to 2012. What did he get? What did he have during that time? The Legion of Boom. So you can run cover 3 all you want. That defense was incredible. You had probably one of the best secondaries in the world. He was with the Chargers from 2017 to 2020. They had good defenses then. I just want to read you like what when you put in Gus Bradley defensive ranks on Google. I'm going to read it verbatim, and you tell me if this invokes any sort of positive feeling. Gus Bradley's defense is generally ranked in the middle to lower half of the NFL, known for a conservative, soft zone scheme that struggled with creativity and often produced poor results in points and yards allowed, particularly during his later years with the Colts, where they ranked near the bottom in points 24th, 28th, 29th, and yards 15th, 24th, 29th, leading to his firing in the early 2025. My problem is this, if you have an issue with the way that this defense is being run, get ready to watch the same things over and over. And yes, Nick Bosa is going to play probably, soon. And you would hope the pass rush is different. But I'm kind of sick of just like the whole we've got a guy. We're not going to, be of this year. This is when you're going to be like, oh, we're good with Gus Bradley. Like, it just feels like the game's kind of passed him by. And he's kind of skating by with the fact that defense that he had in Seattle, you literally had one of the greatest secondaries of all time. Now, Jim Schwartz is under contract, might become a head coach, so you can't really do anything there. And even if you wanted to interview him, Cleveland can block that. Flores was available, but Flores was taking head coaching interviews, and I'm sure Minnesota threw the bag at him. I'm sure that right now he's probably the highest paid defensive coordinator, and rightfully so, because I think he's the best in the world right now. Shout out to my Vikings for bringing him back. And then you think about Raheem Morris, and Kyle's tried to get Raheem Morris hired multiple places. That's one of his, but like literally, they've been together in Tampa Bay, in Atlanta, and he went to the Rams. Funny enough, he went to the Rams the year that they won the Super Bowl. So even like the Raheem Morris thing, but it just, I guess I'm just frustrated because it just feels like they didn't really care who was available. They weren't going to pivot off of what they were doing. They were just fine with Gus Bradley, and it just feels boring. And instead of it being a safety net, now you're just like, oh well, this was always Plan A and whatever it is, and it's just like, all right, man, like no creativity with the scheme. Everything is going to be same thing. Back off, bend but don't break. If you didn't like that, get ready to learn Gus Bradley because that's what that's going to be this season. We'll see. Everybody's going to be healthy. Maybe some things change, but schematically, this just feels like a boring move. It just feels conservative and it feels very safe. And I don't think the 49ers are in a position right now with the way Seattle is playing, with the Rams are, to play it safe. And I just think it's boring and it's short sighted. I really am.
Yeah, and if there's a time to change a defensive philosophy, would now not be the time because of how many new pieces are on this defense, right? Like we talked about it, how many rookies and second year players were on this defense. There's a potential that there's two brand new starting safeties on this defense next year.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be a new pass rusher. There's going to be a lot of new things on this defense. So why would now not be the time to try something different and see if, because like last year, the defense wasn't great. 2023 obviously was pretty decent. They get to a Super Bowl. This year, it wasn't great. Obviously, the injuries are a big part. But if there's a time to switch things up, like now, this season would be the time. But
Come on,
instead,
man.
it's the same thought of like, hey, we got our guy in house. They kind of do it with a lot of positions, right? They've done it with the offensive side of the ball as well. It's a lot of in house hires, and I it's worked. It's worked in theory, right?
It
Like
has worked.
D'Amico Ryans has been a great coach.
For sure.
Robert Saleh, same
For
thing.
sure.
Mike McDaniel, all that stuff. At some point, something's got to change because they kind of keep hitting this same wall they hit every year. And again, this year's wall is a little different because of the injuries and yada yada yada. But at some point, you'd think there'd be a change. And with how young and how new this defense is, with the development of Upton Stout and Michael Williams coming back and Renardo Green and Malik Mustafa and all these guys, you would think that maybe it would be the time. But the Niners seem to disagree with that thought.
What I wonder about Andrew is this entire secondary took a step back under Robert Saleh.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
Yeah.
Green, Mustafa, Jair Brown at times, Lenore. And you're gonna run the same scheme again.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, maybe I'm just like connecting the dots in a weird way. But if you're gonna be playing cover 3 and everything, that's what got Bernardo Green benched for a little while. It's just that's a blown coverage on a play where you're supposed to sink way. There's no reason for that ball to go over your head. You're supposed to sink way back further. There's no one in front of you. Like that's what Kyle's yelling at him about. And you're just gonna run it back with that system. Now there's two ways to look at this, and you can say, well, it'll be their second year in that type of system. And I think, again, that's another thing the 49ers kind of stick to that I think at times is good and at times is just, you have to know the difference when it's time to stick with continuity and when it's time to break free of it. Continuity can be important, especially, I think, more offensively than defensively, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Like, that is more important to be, have that continuity on offense than it is defense. But there's got to be, like, it's not black and white. It's definitely gray. Like, you have to be able to paint in between the numbers here, and just think about like, hey man, maybe these players aren't set in the skill set or their skill sets don't fit this scheme. It just feels like, it was always going to be like this no matter how this season ended. And I think that is a little frustrating because it shows that they're not adaptable to, like, you didn't know Brian Flores might be available. You didn't know if Jim Schwartz was going to be available. Now, on the flip side, Andrew, playing around and messing around and waiting too long is what got you Nick Sorensen, because you were too deep and you went into the Super Bowl and everything, and then you get rid of Wilkes. So I might understand that. Now look, Bradley hasn't been announced, okay, so maybe we're jumping the gun, but then for him to say that out loud, I really believe that that's what they really are intending to do, and it means that they're probably not going to be hiring too many other people. So it's just boring, man. That's my thing. It's just boring. It's not an exciting move. Bringing Robert Saleh back, we were all excited about energy and what he was able to do because he had a really good defense. It's just Bradley is just like, it's boring, and his resume lately is not good. As soon as he leaves Indianapolis, now Indianapolis defense is good. Like it's just boring. I think that's the best way I could put it. It's just very boring.
Yeah, and maybe the secondary gets better with the the re-additions of Michael Williams and Nick Bosa.
Well, the pass
Maybe
rush will
stuff like that
certainly
will
be
happen.
better.
Yeah, the pass rush will maybe that helps the secondary as a whole. But
For
yeah,
sure.
the Gus Bradley thing doesn't excite me. We'll see what happens. Obviously, a lot can change in between now and then. But for Kyle Shanahan to name drop Gus Bradley as much as he did, it kind of feels like we're heading that direction.
Like not even KJ Wright.
Let's talk about it because there was a couple things. Lynch mentioned the training camp is around the timetable that Michael Williams is expected to return. Nick Bosa is on a similar timeline. That's good. Hey, positive injury updates. We've been looking for some of those. So anything on those two? I don't think anything surprising there, but just maybe a boost to the defense with the potential Gus Bradley.
No, just meaning we're fucking back. As soon as training camp starts, we're so fucking back and Super Bowl back on. So just prepare yourself. That's all.
Let's talk about the inevitability of the defense and talk about the thing that was inevitable for the offense that was mentioned today. John Lynch on Brandon Ayuk. I think it's safe to say he's played his last snap with the 49ers.
Wow. Thanks for that. And thanks for that bombshell.
Thank you. And then Kyle Shanahan added, that's something I'd never seen in my 22 years of coaching, which I think he said before. It kind of feels like a deja vu moment. It's a bummer. It's a bummer because he listen, we knew it. Like, this isn't breaking news or anything like that. But Brandon Ayuk is the closest thing the Niners have had to a true wide receiver one in 2 decades, unless you want to count Anquan Bolden in there, then in a decade. And now it almost feels like the Niners are going to have to tear down the receiving position because Juwan Jennings is a free agent. Ricky Pearsall, there's a lot of questions. It wasn't great. It wasn't a great group. Kendrick Bourne, I don't think he's going to come back. Things like that. It's not a great unit right now. Ayuk would have cleaned up a lot of it. And I just a thing that I can't get over. It's Debo would be, hey, Debo's a free agent. Maybe we'll bring him back. But I fully recognize that a lot of this is Brandon Ayuk's fault. I just can't get over the story of how close they were to trading him to the Steelers and them choosing not to, and then getting stuck in this. And that's the thing that kind of drives me crazy is they had a chance. They had their out. Even after all the social media dramatics and all that stuff, obviously you can't predict that this is how it was going to end. But they seemed pretty done with Brandon Ayuk before they signed him to a contract extension. They had a chance. To trade him, and they chose not to. It's an unfortunate end to this situation. I'm curious to see if Ayuk finds a place next season. I don't know what this does to his NFL career, but just really not the way you wanted this to end.
This is the most bizarre thing ever. Like, Antonio Brown, move over. When we were talking about it all season, we just kept saying something feels weird. Something's wrong. Nobody's giving you an open timeline. Nobody's telling you anything about when he's coming back. Nobody's saying anything about when he's going to come back. It just felt weird. And people all the time on Twitter would be like, oh, he's coming back after the bye. You're overthinking it. Blah, 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 blah. No. This shit was weird. It was very weird. And the thing is, it's still weird because nobody has any answers.
No.
Lynch and Kyle are like, we don't know what happened. We're never going to hear from Ayuk. How the fuck do you not know what happened? You know what happened. Why are you lying? So do you think that Ayuk just dipped off and you had no part in this? And there wasn't any contentious discussion? Or there wasn't something that pointed to that this might happen? Why are you lying? Why are you acting like this is something that is just like, oh, well, don't blame us. We didn't. Why are you lying? How is it that a player can just go from, hey, I've got $70 million guaranteed to just ghosting the team? What happened? What did you say? What did he say? Something happened. There's no reason that somebody would just do this that way. And don't lie to us and play with our intelligence and say that, oh, nothing, we don't know what happened. We didn't do anything. You did something. Something happened. There was an interaction that forced this to happen. There was a cause and a correlation. There was a cause and an effect. There's no way that you woke up one day or Ayuk woke up one day and he was just like, you know what? I'm not going back to work no more. Something happened. Something happened. And if you think that we're going to sit here and be like, oh man, well, I don't believe a word that they said. Something happened. I don't mean that they did something to make it happen. Something happened. So don't lie, and don't lie to us. Something happened. Brandon Ayuk didn't just decide one day to stop playing football. What did you say? What did he say? What was the argument? When was the time that this happened? Stop, man. Just don't lie to us. I don't like these press conferences because they're nothing burgers and word salads, but that's a flat out lie if I've ever heard it. Why on earth are you lying to us? Don't lie. He did something, you did something. There's no reason that he just walked away. So don't fucking lie. And I hate when they do that. And I hate when fans just take exactly what they said as like, well, you know, or you don't believe them. What do you know? No, get out of here. They're lying. They are lying. So that you can call it out as being a lie for sure. What on earth happened? When are we gonna find out? What was the interaction? When did they split? Like it's embarrassing that so many people just take what they said at face value without using critical thinking. There's no way that Brandon Ayuk just said, you know what, man? I don't feel like going in. You know, I don't believe them. I don't believe a word that they said when that happened. I don't mean that they forced this to happen, but there was an interaction that happened that all of a sudden turned this thing, and they're lying about that. It's not, oh, we don't know. Like, oh, well, don't ask me. Ask him. No. You guys, somebody said something, he said something, you said something, and then it turned to this. Don't lie. Just don't fucking lie. I hate when people do that, and then I hate when fans gobble that shit up, and they're like, so you don't believe John and Kyle? Yes, I don't believe them. I think they're lying. 100% I think they're lying about this.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily it's 100% the Niners' fault. It's more of as you said, something had to have happened, and whether or not we find out exactly, I have a feeling we're going to find something out because it's still so weird to me that we have not heard anything from Ayuk's side, right? Like there's got to be Brandon Ayuk's side of this story, and maybe if we ever get that, we'll figure out something that's probably in the middle between the two. But I just refuse to believe that it was as simple as he wasn't rehabbing with the team and therefore we voided his guarantees. Like there had to be something deeper to void the guarantees. And that's the thing that I've been trying to figure out. I don't even know where to begin to try and figure it out. But there's something that's not being said by whatever side it is. As I said, Ayuk hasn't spoken yet. The only thing we've really seen from Ayuk is him driving 100 miles an hour past the stadium. That doesn't help his cause, obviously. But there's something that's not being said. And until we find that out, I do have a hard time taking this whole like, well, we don't know what happened from Shanahan and Lynch. And who knows, maybe that is the case. Maybe we'll find out that yes, Ayuk comes out and says, yes, I ghosted them, and then we can take it at face value, right? But until that point, it's just there's something missing from this story. And we don't need to really dissect what it is yet. But for it to go from, I mean, just play the timeline out. It's him wanting to be out, him wanting to be traded, the Niners not meeting his demands, the Niners having a trade on the table, last second pulling out of that trade to sign him to an extension, him having a slow start to his season, then him tearing his ACL, MCL, and all that stuff, to now all of a sudden, like, you don't really hear anything in the entire off season, and we didn't hear anything even in training camp. Nobody was asking, where's Brandon Ayuk? Where's Brandon Ayuk? Nothing came out until the Diana Rossini report in week 10 it was.
Andrew,
and that's when we started hearing it. So there's something weird going on.
Andrew, and then in the beginning of the season, remember? Oh, he's been in the receiver room. He's like a coach, Leonard Hankerson saying. He's been coaching up everyone. He's on the field pregame running routes, which I don't know how the 49ers didn't get fined for it. Like, do you understand why I don't believe any of this shit? Like, how is it that he ghosted everybody, but yet Leonard Hankerson before in training camp is saying, oh, he's like another wide receiver coach. He's been doing great. Everyone was singing his praises. Then you even see him running routes before the Raiders preseason game. Remember when Pooney got hurt and everybody's like, oh, look at Brandon Ayuk, and then he goes away? Come on, man. Like, use your mind, bro. Use your brain. The critical thinking in your brain should be clicking. There's no way that this shit just went to Brandon Ayuk being like, nah, you know what, man? I don't feel like being here anymore. What happened? You said something. He said something. Something happened. How did it go from he's another wide receiver coach to him running routes before a Raiders game to not showing back up? What? Say something. Yeah. Someone has to find out what happened here because it's not. We don't know it. Lying. You're lying. You are dead ass lying because the timeline does not line up here.
Yeah, there's something missing from this story, and as I said, we may never find out what it is, but until then, the only thing we have to go off of is what Shanahan and Lynch have said. And this podcast doesn't necessarily subscribe to what they're saying, and I see people in the comments saying, "Hey, we buy it." That's okay. You're allowed to have that side. It's just, to me, it makes no sense. This timeline they're pursuing, but neither here nor there, right? Ayuk is gone. It is kind of what it is at this situation. Let's talk about the other receiver that was mentioned. That was Jordan Watkins. Shanahan said that wide receiver Jordan Watkins missed his window to pass some people after suffering a high ankle sprain in training camp. Watkins needed 3 weeks to get his conditioning right during the season, but had a setback. Quote, when you're trying to compete for a 1 seed, trying to compete to get in the playoffs, you don't experiment with that at the expense of the football team. Shanahan said by the time that Watkins was ready, around week 12, 13, the guys ahead of him were more consistent at this time in their career. That tweet is from Kyle Posey. Your thoughts on the Jordan Watkins?
Pretty much kind of what we were saying. It's like, why isn't Watkins getting any run? He doesn't have trust. You're not in the trust circle. You know, you're the like meet the parents. You're not in the trust circle. If he doesn't trust you to be in the right spot, if he doesn't trust you to line up right, which by the way, Kendrick Bourne doesn't know how to line up right, so I don't know what the hell the trust means, but yeah, you know, it just felt like everybody's like, oh, Jordan Watkins is healthy. I'm like, who's he gonna jump? Is he gonna jump Kendrick Bourne? Is he gonna jump Demarcus Robinson, Jawan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall? Who's he jumping? He's not even going to jump Sky Moore because Sky Moore plays special teams. They've got the receivers that they're comfortable with. So it's not a matter of skill. I just don't want people to think that Jordan Watkins is trash or something like that, right? Based off of this. It's when you're constructing your 53-man roster and your game day roster, right? Let's just say Ricky Pearsall's playing. Pearsall, Jennings, Robinson, Bourne, Sky Moore. 5. That's who has to be active. Yeah. There's no more room. It's a numbers game. So it's not that Jordan Watkins is bad. It's just who are you gonna play? Who are you gonna sit over him? And who does Kyle trust? So I just don't want 49 fans to act like, you know, Jordan Watkins is trash or it's a missed pick or anything like that. It is what it is. So you have the way that you construct everything. If you're not a special teams player, then you're not going to be up on game day because that's why Luke Gifford's up every single game day. That's why, you know, you have to remember how you build your game day roster. And it's not Jordan Watkins' fault. He got injured, and that's what it is. And Daniel Garcia, shout out to him. He says, is Sky under contract for next year? He is not. He is an unrestricted free agent. So the 49ers have work to do. I think of the unrestricted free agents, obviously you got to bring back Eddie Pinheiro. You know, it doesn't matter about the punter. You can find any punter that's better than Thomas Morstead. He can go.
I think I saw something that they're going to bring back. They're going to try and bring back Morstead.
Didn't Morstead say it was his last season? Go home, bro. That's it, man. Just bring back anybody, man. Just go home already, man. Like, come on. Enough, man. Like,
Jake Moody, the punter.
Yeah, whatever, man. Like, just go home, dog. We can pick another punter. It's fine, man. But Sky Moore's definitely got to be at the top of the list of somebody to bring back. You know, so I think it's like about 14 or 15 unrestricted free agents. And when you look up and down that list, the names that jump out at you is Sky Moore immediately. Eddie Pinheiro, don't let him leave the building. You know, and depending on how much it costs, depending on how much he'll take, Jawan Jennings should be back. Depending. If he wants to get 15 to 20 million, bye. You got to go, man. Like that's it, man. And if somebody's willing to pay you that, God bless you and God bless them and take the money and go take care of your family. But Sky Moore's definitely got to be back as one of the unrestricted free agents. So
I see people asking kind of what's a realistic speedy
Alec Pierce
receiver. Alec Pierce is one that jumps off.
That's
I think that's the big one. Grant Cohn mentioned Jordan Addison, which would
I love it. He's a knucklehead. I love it. No, I know seriously. No, I love it as a like. If that's true, that is I love that.
Good one. Yeah,
but as long as Ricky Pearsall is not a part of the deal. Like if you can pair Addison with Pearsall, and then maybe draft somebody else, holy shit, now you're cooking with gas and you got guys that can get open, right? Like Addison's really good. And you know what's funny is Addison's been in, because again, I cover the Vikings. Addison's been in an advantageous situation because who's the number one in Minnesota? Justin Jefferson. And you can't roll coverages his way, and he's already good enough to get himself open. Trust me, the problems that are going on with Minnesota don't have anything to do with the receivers getting themselves open. The problem is that when the ball finally did get there, sometimes Addison would drop it, and Addison's a fucking knucklehead. That's another thing. I don't know. Like again, he's been suspended. He got benched for the first quarter of the London game because he didn't go to walkthrough. He just got arrested at a casino. Like that is like, dude, get your head out of your ass, man. And I don't know if the organization will take a chance on a guy with a checkered past like that because they like their good boys, right? Like, and I understand that, right? Because you're investing in the player, and you don't want to have a guy who's going to be a knucklehead off the field. But Jordan Addison, the player, oh man, I'd absolutely sign up for that. And as long as it's not going to be some first round pick or anything like that, but Jordan Addison's a hooper, man, and I love that idea.
Yeah, no, Jordan Addison would be good. I'm curious if the Brandon Ayuk situation makes him less prone to go after a little bit of a different mindset guy. Alec Pierce would be a great one.
Yeah,
I haven't.
He's gonna have a big market.
I haven't dove too deep into the draft yet, but this Makai Lemon, I believe his name is.
Yeah, that feels like a 49ers guy, but he may not be around at 27 though.
He might not be around at 27, but hey, Grant also mentioned that the Niners could be looking to trade up.
Trade up.
I think that's always just a possibility. Period.
And if you don't believe Grant, him and Kruger say they heard the same thing. So whoever they're talking to is saying the same exact thing. So, I mean, take it for what it's worth. Grain of salt and all that. Some crazy ideas are being thrown out there where it's maybe they get Mac Jones because Minnesota is fully committed to getting a quarterback in there to compete with McCarthy. Like they literally told McCarthy, your job's not safe, dude. And we're gonna bring somebody in. You're gonna have to beat somebody else out. Daniel Jones is gonna be a free agent, but that his leg is dead. Is it Marcus Mariota? That doesn't make you feel really good. They were in on Mac before the 49ers signed him. What does it look like? And they tried to bring back Darnold. So is it a move for like Mac and a pick and Addison and somebody else? For me, I just say Mac and a pick and just give us Justin Jefferson because you don't need that headache anymore. Justin Jefferson is really becoming too much of a headache for Minnesota. So send him on over and you can keep Addison. Obviously, I'm joking because I can't wait for the comments to be like, "Are you serious?"
Just any trade for Justin Jefferson. Trade Kyle and Purdy for Josh Allen, right? Like simple as that, right? Like boom.
Yeah, right. I mean, hey, if I could do it in Madden, you can do it in real life.
Yeah, exactly. Last thing I wanted to touch on with this press conference, and I don't want to touch on it because it's the fucking dumbest thing. If you thought anything that the Bills said in their presser was stupid, John Lynch topped them today. John Lynch shared that the club has and will continue to research if the electrical substation is having any impact on their players. And I don't like that he said that because now it's a real thing.
Now it has legs.
It was an internet conspiracy, and I did not subscribe to it. I'm fine cracking jokes about it, but anybody who takes it seriously, and let me give you this, is I forget the bozo's name who's been the one pushing this on Twitter, but he was on Pardon My Take on Friday, and let me kind of give you the ideas that he was throwing out there. First of all, he said he didn't even know about it until Chase Senior, yes, that Chase Senior, brought it to his attention. And listen, nothing against Chase Senior as a social media personality. Chase is fine. Chase is cool. If you follow Chase Senior though, you know where his political leanings lean. We don't need to dive too deep into it, right? Feels like in this realm of thought, right? But then the other thing that the guy said on Pardon My Take is, John Feliciano was the first one to mention the electrical substation. Of course he was. But then he said, Feliciano said it in a joking manner, but he wasn't joking. So which one is it? Is it Feliciano was being serious, or was he joking? Or was he joking, but because you subscribe to the theory, he's telling the truth? And so it's just, to me, 100%, it's fair for the media to ask. It's 100% fair for the media to ask because it's something that's been mentioned on social media. But for John Lynch to acknowledge it and say it is something we are looking into, he doesn't have to say that. He does not have to say it. He could give any Brandon Ayuk, we don't know what happened. He could give any type of that answer. But now that John Lynch has officially acknowledged this situation, it is now real. And that's my problem because the group of Twitter that have been pushing this agenda are the same group that probably took ivermectin a couple years ago to prevent COVID. It's that realm of thought, to me at least. And maybe science shows that this is true, but you had a Doc on a couple days ago. He thought it was a very silly theory as well. I do not like that John Lynch openly acknowledged that this is something they're looking into.
Of all the things that I have to analyze with this team, and I try to be really good at what I do, X's and O's, matchups, what's going on with the team, pulse. I have no energy to give this.
Yeah.
None. I don't understand why, how, and I agree with you. What are you talking about, man? Because now you're just grasping at straws. The real question should be, do you have to look into your training methods, the way that you practice, your training staff? All of those things are fair. There's no way. The people that I would tell you, if you believe in this, did you get what you wanted from Santa Claus when you asked him? Are you going to hang out with the Easter Bunny on Easter and go find eggs? Because I stopped believing in fairy tales a long time ago. I'm really appalled, and it's kind of scary, at the amount of people who are even considering this as some sort of explanation.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary. It's people that you know. It's people you're friendly with. It's scary, man. The internet is a beautiful thing and a terrible thing. It's a beautiful thing because you and I get to do our podcast on YouTube and connect with people, and we get to talk with them on social media. But it also has led to an insane amount of brain rot. And unfortunately, critical thinking is out the window, and a rabbit hole that you start to go down has you believing things like John F. Kennedy Jr. is going to be back one day. And I can't, man. I have no energy to give this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I just really don't get it. And they're asking, would you want to live next to a power plant? Nobody does. Nobody does. I live in an urban area. I live next to other buildings. There's no power plant in my area. It's insane. It's insane that in a season where the 49ers won 13 games, one playoff game, what's going to happen with the draft class? It's insane that this was even asked, and it's more insane that John Lynch is like, oh, we're going to look into it, and we're going to look into everything.
Yeah, and like...
Go ahead, you got it.
Even too, like the people, because I see people in the comments saying, the facility's been there for years, and that's something that's been mentioned on Twitter. And then you notice how the timeline moved to, oh, well, in 2014 they expanded it, and that's what, and it's just
Andrew. But here's all right. This is it. Did the power plant take the year off in 2023 when everybody was fucking healthy?
2019 too.
Ask yourself this question. Please just use your brain. Now people got me hot. Use your brain. So the power plant and the substation, it didn't do anything in 2023. Nobody had nothing to say about it, and it was there. Mm-hmm. But in 2024, 2025, it was like, all right, now we're going to cause the injuries. Mm-hmm. What's the cause and correlation? Use your brain. So in 2023, it said, you know what? We want the 49ers to be super healthy. We're not going to mess with them at all. And we're gonna and then in the Super Bowl, whatever, Dre Greenlaw tears his Achilles and Feliciano leaves the game. Use your brain, please. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my fucking life, and it's making me lose. It's making me lose a lot of hope for humanity. I already thought we were already fucked up, circling the drain pipe with the way that people think. Don't make this worse. If you believe in this, then ask him why didn't the substation ruin the 49ers in 2023 when they went to the Super Bowl and everybody was healthy? Ask that question. What does the substation have to do with Fred Warner's ankle pointing in the wrong direction? What does the substation have to do with Nick Bosa's ACL tear? Use your brain. Holy shit, even the guy who brought it up didn't even have any sort of scientific backing. Please, people, I'm begging you, and I know that I'm talking on deaf ears. I am begging you. Holy shit, touch some grass, watch a movie, read a book. Stop with this shit, please. Let it die and let it be done, because you look insane. There's no way that this should ever be a discussion. I'm done with it, Andrew. I'm done with it. I don't want to talk about it no more.
We will put it away. We'll tuck it away. No more electrical substation talk on this podcast. Jason, was there anything else from the presser that we missed that we could touch on real quick? I think we got everything.
Kyle
said Mac Jones. He envisions Mac Jones to do better.
Oh, okay. That was kind of interesting, actually. I do think that he really believes that. But if somebody comes along with someone's like, yo, we'll give you a second on draft day. Like if Minnesota's like, we'll give you a second for Mac. Or if they bump it down and they're like, we'll give you a fourth and Jordan Addison for Mac. I wouldn't even let them hang up the phone before I, send him out. Curtis Rourke is a very capable backup. And I'm not just riding the Indiana stuff. I'm telling you, man. Curtis Rourke is a hooper. I'm telling you, man. We need more Hoosiers. More. Elijah Surratt, pack your bags, buddy. You are a San Francisco 49er. And if not you, Omar Cooper. One of you guys ride the wave. Indiana's the new heavyweights. So, Curtis Rourke is a hooper, man. I think that he's exactly what Kyle's looking for in a quarterback. That's why, I sent that tweet out joking in January where I was like, try and stop Kyle from drafting Curtis Rourke, and he sure did. But I do think that they understand that they are a better football team with him there because he's so good as a backup. He should be a starter somewhere. But if somebody blows you away with a deal, you gotta move him. Because you have so many holes to fill in this roster. You have so many holes to fill in this roster. You need edge rushers. You need safety. You need wide receivers. You need offensive line. You need linebackers. You need everything. You need everything. And they're going to take another running back with one of these picks, right? So the more picks that you get, the better. But it was I understand what he's talking about. I think that he believes that nobody's going to give up that amount of money. I mean, that amount of picks. You'll see somebody get really desperate.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, I've seen the tweet already talking about what he said about Deebo Samuel in January of the year he got traded, all that stuff. So anything's on the table. The offseason's still long. Jason, you want to throw some predictions out for Sunday since I don't know if we'll talk on Friday since the Niners are out. You want to make some predictions for the championship weekend?
Oh, yeah. I hope that Bane comes and destroys the stadium. So that's my prediction. Bane blows up the stadium. There is no game. And they just crowned the Patriots the champs.
I'm just feeling crazy this week, but I'm starting to lean Denver might win. I don't know, something about Stidham. I think I just go back to the last game of 2022.
Stidham revenge game.
Stidham revenge game, but the last game of 2022 when Stidham cooked the Niners defense in Vegas. Remember that game? He had a couple of interceptions, but he threw for 250, 3 touchdowns. Looked pretty good there. I've kind of talked myself into Stidham. And then for the Seahawks game, Rams fan for Sunday only. I would prefer the Rams to win. I don't think that's going to happen. I do not think that's going to happen. I think the Seahawks are too good of a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there it is.
So you think the Super Bowl is going to be Rams Patriots or Rams Denver?
I'm not 100% sold on the Bronco pick, but as of right now, I'm going to go Seahawks Denver. But that could change before Sunday.
Okay.
I like that Denver defense, man. Something about the Denver defense.
It's because you love Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga.
Hey, man, I was huge on them during this podcast when they were Niners, right?
Never said a bad word about either of them.
Now they're wearing a different jersey. I love them so much more.
All right. Do you want to laugh? I love this part. All right. It's about the press conference.
Yes.
He asked John Lynch about Nick Martin, and he's like, he cleared concussion protocol today.
Hey, that's
Just in
that's good
time, yo,
news.
just in time, just in
Yeah,
time. We're right,
that
like,
that's good news because he was in concussion protocol for a while. So that is
oh,
good to hear. That is genuinely good news. But yeah, just coincidental. And the same thing, I was concerned with something I saw on Monday that Warner said that he was happy that he can kind of slow down the rehab now and not rush everything. And that feels like not a good quote for the camp of like wanting him back in the NFC Championship game. If the first thing if his first thought of after the loss is I'm happy that I can slow down the rehab. That doesn't make me that doesn't instill much confidence for a potential NFC Championship game for Fred Warner. Vish, we
I just
appreciate
like,
it.
you know what?
Yeah.
I again, look, man. Either John and Kyle are sick sons of bitches who love to troll, or
It's
they just
possible.
don't, or they just don't understand like what you should be saying, like at all.
Yeah.
Like they're completely aloof. And I have a hard time believing that with John Lynch because he has a history in media. But the fact that he was like, oh yeah, he cleared concussion protocol today. The fucking neat. That'll help us out a lot
Yeah.
in this game that we
Great.
have this weekend, right? Like you could have
Really.
just been like, you could have just said like, he progressed during some time or whatever like that. Like dude, like it's just I laughed so hard at that because and you know what? Good for 49ers Twitter for having a sense of
Yeah.
humor. They were like right on time because we have a game this weekend. Like they answered it the right way, but yeah, look, the press conference was whatever, man. It was just like a like they didn't say anything about Ayuk. Um, I think the Jordan Watkins quote is kind of on par with what they were thinking. I didn't really like again. You don't really get blown away with these things. Like you
Yeah.
just they both know what not to say, what to say. So it is what it is, man. We're back in the saddle, and it's draft season. It's draft season right now. Senior Bowl next week. A lot of
Ruben
Indiana
Bain.
play it, huh? Ruben Bain,
Ruben
baby,
Bain.
fall to
That's
27. Yeah.
crazy.
Well, all right. So Grant did say this, and so did Larry Kruger, that the 49ers are not only going to be aggressive with Jordan Addison, but trying to move up in the draft.
Yep.
Now that's good. Just
Yeah.
don't just don't move up in the draft and then start looking for the guy like they did
Yeah.
the last time. Like wait for the draft and then, like after you've done your due diligence, that's always been their biggest mistake with the number 3 pick when they moved to it is they moved to number 3 super early and then they started doing work on the quarterbacks. That'll always be their biggest mistake. Always.
Yep.
It should have been you during the draft or right before the draft moving up to 3 after you looked into everybody. That's always going to be they did the shit ass backwards. But if you're gonna move up, make sure you got a target and make sure you do it around draft time. Just don't do it again like that because that is an ass backwards way of evaluating and trying to get somebody. It's like, hey, now we're at number 3. Well, let's just start looking into the tape. What are you serious? Like, are you dumb? Like, why the fuck would you do it that way? Like, and then like it just turns into this whole drama of like QB collective and he went to Fields Pro Day and he went to Lance's Pro Day and they love Mac Jones and it's just like, bro, you caused all of that talk for no reason. Like
Mhm.
all that shit could have been completely gone, and that discussion, if you moved to 3 on draft day, would have been everybody being like, "Oh shit, was that for Mac? Was it for Lance?" But it would only have lasted that day. You didn't have to make it the whole fucking off season like that.
Yeah.
You did it. So like, just do it like that.
Yeah. I like it. Jason, now that's the off season, I'm allowed to ask these questions because
Sure.
this is what we do in the off season. Can I get your full thoughts on Don't Be Dumb?
Don't Be Dumb is the second best ASAP Rocky album.
Okay.
Second best. Okay. I don't want to
Okay.
be a prisoner of the moment, but I am in love with the production. I
Mhm.
feel like this is Rocky, and then the middle of the album he experiments, and it still works. I think the first half of the album's fucking incredible. I think Helicopter is an incredible record. I fucking
Helicopter's
yeah,
incredible.
it's amazing. But I do think it's his second best album. I have a tough time because I love Long Live ASAP, and I love what's the second one where he has Yam's face on it? I think it's Pretty Flacco Jody, that one. Like I love those albums. Like I can play them front to back. but this one is really good. ASAP Rocky, it worth the wait. I will definitely say that, and that is hard to do, to make everybody like sit and wait. And he just did and this will interest you actually. He just did an interview on Apple Music with Ebro, and he's like, "Yeah, Tyler the Creator's dumbass is about to drop again, and so is Frank Ocean or whatever." Yeah, we're getting new Frank Ocean music. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, what? Oh man. So yeah, I really enjoyed the album. I'm gonna live with it for a while, man. Shout out to ASAP, man. He's putting him. He's always been one of those guys that should have been in that discussion with other guys, and not because he's rapping like Kendrick and Cole and you know, a hitmaker like Drake, but because he's the guy that people aspire to be, because they're able to keep shit on the raps and be stylish and everything. And you know, that's what happens. It's, those Harlem dudes, they know how to put that shit on and everything. And I'm glad that he took his time. I also think that a lot of his perspective on this album is good because he has a family. I think that's important. I think that's the place that Drake himself has lost the plot. Is I want to hear more about you having a co-parent or you having a kid. Like, can you please stop telling me about you seeing your ex in the club or outside the club? I don't care anymore about that shit, man. Like, I really don't. Like, you've given us enough of that. Or, you know, your friends that haven't stuck by you or anything like that. Like, can we get some insight into where you are as a near 40-year-old man? Can we get some insight into who you are as a parent, as a father? Can we get vulnerable about what you're worried about with your son? And not all of it. Like, I don't need a whole Drake album of him, like, you know, crying about like his responsibilities as a man, but like, you still talking about the same shit over and over. My ex is in the club with a new dude, and you know, I text her, and all right, man, that shit sounded cool a few years ago, man. You're not evolving and anything like that. So, but yeah, I love this album, ASAP. You know, well worth the wait. Good job.
I love the album too. I listened to it all the way through. The second weird setup for it coming out right away on Spotify and making Apple Music users wait an hour. But he really spoke my language with the features list coming out with Gorillaz and Tyler. That was sick. I didn't expect. I don't think Gorillaz have been a feature on a song for like 15 years. So like that's an interesting one. The Tim Burton stuff too. That is,
yeah, it's so cool.
That is such a sick collab. But Helicopters, dude, Doechie's feature on it. That's a Doechii we haven't heard. And that was a pretty unique song. I thought it was such a good album. I've listened to it pretty consistently since it's come out. And I know you're a bigger ASAP guy than I am because I'm so fairly new to him. But yeah, man, what an album. I enjoyed it.
Excellent album, man. Hip hop's in a great spot. We're gonna get J. Cole in a few. Anybody who's saying that hip hop is dead is just they're not listening to the right people. So just a big win for New York rap, and you know, ASAP's the guy that people in New York want to be. So yep. I really enjoy this album, and I'm happy for him, man. And I'm happy that anytime somebody drops a fire hip hop album, I'm in. I just think it's a great time for hip hop right now. So Wes Jameson says Tyler is better, but ASAP is solid. Tyler, one day, people are going to look back at Tyler the Creator's discography fully and realize, all right, let's get hot takey, and realize that it's more complete than Drake's.
Oh yeah.
Like more complete. I am talking about front to back, experimenting, talking about different things.
The maturation.
Full bodies of work. I am talking about full bodies of work. Drake could have the singular better album, if you want to say Take Care is. That may be true. That may be true. But as a body of work, discography all together, Call Me If You Get Lost, Cherry Bomb, and Wolf, and all those albums, he is not seeing Tyler's body of work. And if I said it on here, I meant it, because I say what the fuck I mean. I'm telling you. And Tyler keeps putting out shit. And Tap the Glass, that's another one. Like, Tyler's getting into a spot where it's hard to argue against it, right? Like, it's like when you go through Drake albums, you're looking at them and you're saying, yes, Take Care might be the singular body of work that is better than anything Tyler's put out. But as a discography as a whole, oh my God, you got to lean Tyler at this point, because one, he comes out every single year, and two, the maturation, you can hear it. Three, he does all of it. He does all of it. He doesn't get producers. He does it. So I don't want to have a tough conversation if you're a Drake fan. Like, you know, you already know how I feel about him and Kendrick. I think I've always thought Kendrick was better, but if you want to have a tough conversation, this is the one that's really going to piss people off. Tyler's discography is shitting on Drake shit, in my opinion.
And these Grammys could be big because there's a chance that Tyler gets 2 albums to win awards with Chromacopia and Don't Tap the Glass
in the same year.
Don't Tap the Glass, he made on the Chromacopia tour. Like he just kind of did it as a side. So yeah, I absolutely agree. I've been a big Tyler guy since high school. I got my Chromacopia, can't really say it, but I got my Chromacopia, you know, standing there, and then I got the little Chromacopia tape cassette, you know. So,
it's a cassette.
I'm obviously very biased on Tyler the Creator, but man, he's something special.
One more thing I'll say before we get out of here. And we're still talking hip hop. J. Cole. I don't want to hear one bar out of you on this album talking about how you're the fucking man and nobody can see you. Okay? You had your chance. You bowed out. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about you being the best rapper in the world. I don't want to hear about you shitting on people. I don't want to hear about everybody's afraid of you. No. You had your chance. You decided to bow out, and it was probably the right idea. But I do not want to hear a word out of your mouth on this album about how you're the best in the world and about how you can, and you're the boogeyman and da. No. Just give us the bars. We will still keep you in the same spot that we've had you. We're not going to drop you out of the top 3, whatever it is, right? But do not one time out of your mouth say that you're the best in the world when you had a chance to prove that to everyone and you chose not to. So make sure that you step right. Can't wait for the album. I can't wait to listen to it. I think he's an incredible artist, but you don't get to talk that big boy shit because you went inside the house when everybody went outside. And that's always going to be something that follows you for the rest of the time that you're a rapper. Sorry.
I've never been a big J. Cole guy. That's just me.
He's not my favorite, but I know how good he is. He's not my out of the big three. He's
just good.
Get it.
I was just gonna say I know he's very talented, just not for me, and that's okay.
Out of the big 3, he's 3 for me, right? Like if it's the 3, right? Kendrick, Drake, and him. Kendrick's 1, and he's always been 1. See, I'm not one of these people that just became a Kendrick Lamar fan. Kendrick Lamar's been my favorite rapper. And real quick, I'll tell the story. I worked at Verizon, and I could tell you this, and I'll break it all the way down. I used to sell cell phones in my hometown. And something came across my desk called Section 80. And I listened to it. And I was immediately taken by it because of the jazz samples, because of the lyrical content, because of the album's incredible. Who is this Kendrick Lamar guy? I dug a little deeper. Overly Dedicated, found it. Kendrick Lamar, the mixtape, found it. He did a show at SOB's, which is in New York, is like this small club it's right next to, funny enough, it's right next to Hot 97. It's like in the Village, right, in New York. And it's a smaller venue, but it's known to have these events in which you have to pack these sort of things out if you're going to be somebody that is somebody, right? Mm-hmm. So it's an event that is Kendrick Lamar, Double XL, and Hennessy. But it's an invite only. There's no tickets, anything like that. So I call my boy, and I'm like, bro, because he was on the album with me. Like, I'm like, bro, I'm going to call this place, and I'm going to get us in there. I was like, there's no way that I'm not going to. I call, and I send an email, and a guy calls me back. He's like, yo, come by the place. He's like, bring your boy. He was like, it'll be $40 each. And I'll get you in. We get in line. I call. He comes out. He grabs us both. We walk in. We gave him the 40. Handshake. We get in. It's a Hennessy event. It's free Hennessy. He comes out and he performs. You know who jumps on stage with him? A$AP Rocky. Ooh. And he's on stage with, and it's a small venue. And he does all the Section 80 records. I have been a Kendrick Lamar fan from the bottom up. So when I watched all this stuff happen, it's like watching your son like grow up. Same thing with Tyler. Because I brought Bastard to my friends, and they were like, "Yo, this is kind of weird. What is he talking about on here?" I'm like, "Bro, like this dude's one of the next ones. So you like, are you not listening to the music itself, like, and how he's creating it? Yeah, he's got a lot of weird stuff that he's talking about and things that is off-putting, things that
just listen to Yonkers. That's all you need to do.
well, that's Goblin. Bastard was worse.
Oh yeah,
Like
you're right,
that,
you're right,
yeah,
you're right,
yeah, Bastard was worse. Like, but I'm listening to it and I'm like, dude, there's something here. Then Goblin comes out, but then he toned all that shit down and he turned it all in. So like again, I have a deep understanding of where these guys started from. That's why I'm so proud of them. Like I really am so proud of them. But yeah, I'm not a new Kendrick Lamar fan. Yeah, again, that's another great one. That's another great one. Like I'm not a new Kendrick Lamar fan. I'm not a new Tyler fan. Like I'm not at all. So like I've been able to watch them grow. Yeah, Call Me If You Get Lost is fucking incredible. Like it's an incredible album. Like the fact that he got DJ Drama to get on there. Like do you guys get like how hard that is and like what the impact of that is as well too? Don't tap the glasses to shit. But yeah, that's my Kendrick Lamar story and I've seen Kendrick at the Garden twice. I like he's been my guy. So when he destroyed Drake, I didn't have to jump on a bandwagon because I was already pulling that shit by myself.
I love the off season, Jason, because we talk things more than just football. Once baseball gets rolling, we'll get some baseball.
I can't believe 54 people are still here. I'm sorry.
Congrats on Cody Bellinger, by the way.
Fucking plan the parade. Yeah.
Hey, Jung-Hoo Lee just got detained at LAX, so that's what's going on with the Giants right now.
Really?
He forgot his documentations. Apparently, that's what I just read.
He's a Giants player. Just let him through.
Just let them you think, but hey, LA. But no, but one of my favorite things about the off-season episodes for the 55 of you here, Jason, I don't necessarily always we talk Niners. Obviously, the bulk of the episodes are 49ers stuff. But near the end of the episodes, we kind of talk. One of my favorite projects we did last year that I hope we continue this year is Jason gives me a hip hop album to listen to, and I listen to it and I give him thoughts, and that's how I got introduced to ASAP. Dare I say I'm a little slow on that. I also like Little Brother, all them, right? Like. I love our off-season conversations because it's not strictly 49ers. It is 49ers first and foremost, but then we dive into other things. And I love talking hip-hop with Jason Aponte.
All right, Andrew, and this is how we're going to end the episode. John and Kyle did their, end of the year press conference. This is our end of the year podcast.
Okay.
Overall feelings about this season, how it played out, how you view it, how you'll remember it.
I'm going to have more good memories than bad memories with this season, just because of, listen, I remember calling my dad the second Warner went down with his injury and saying the season's over. Like the Bosa injury sucks, but like losing Bosa and Warner, and they still somehow got to the divisional round. So I think I'm going to remember this season fondly. Yes, it wasn't exactly how we wanted it to be, but going into it, Jason, the expectation wasn't. I mean, if you would have told me at the start of the season, we've made this point before, is that with the defense being reworked and the offense where it's at, a divisional round loss would be a solid season, and then every injury happened. And they still went 13-4, 12-5, whatever it was, and won a playoff game on the road against Philadelphia. They uncrowned. There's something that people I haven't seen mention. They uncrowned the defending Super Bowl champions because of the San Francisco 49ers. There's going to be a new Super Bowl champion this season. So I think overall, like 7 out of 10, like on this whole season, because the injuries do exist and they kind of put a damper on everything. But for everything that happened this season, this team kind of showed grittiness. It showed why Kyle Shanahan is a top 3 head coach in the league, maybe top 2. Overall, I would say this was a positive season compared to what it could have been.
I love this season, man.
Yeah.
John Lynch said, yeah, it was a good season, but we have a standard. Okay. You know how hard it is to win a Super Bowl? You know how hard it is to get to the divisional round when you've lost every single good player that you've had? I'm so proud of this team, man. This has been one of the most fun seasons to cover. Even if my body was giving out and still is, now during. But I'm so proud of this team. I'm proud of the culture. I'm proud to be a 49ers fan. Miss me with the whole, oh, they didn't win a Super Bowl, so I'm not happy. Then it means you've been miserable for 30 something years. This season as a whole will always be remembered as a fun season, a season that defied the odds. Every single time you said they couldn't do something, they did. Um, I love all of that. Oh my God, man, sending the Philadelphia Eagles home, man, that is. I don't care what anybody says. You don't hang a banner for that. You don't get a ring for that. Ooh, baby, that one feels really, really good. That feels really good. That's your revenge. The revenge isn't belt to ass in 2023. We were just clearly better than them. Because what does it mean? They had to play a game the next week. The
Mm-hmm.
revenge was this time people get fired. Big Dom's got an Uber. Jalen Hurts is going back to door dashing during the offseason. You have to not play another game. In Philadelphia, you go in there and you knock them off. You know, the Rams game I'll always remember. The
Oh
Bears
yeah.
game was fun as hell. Like this season was fun, man. And it was just more about defying the odds. And I know they were talking about house money and all that and everything. And I know that people will say, well, that's loser mentality because you're happy and they didn't win a Super Bowl. I didn't think the 49ers were going to win a Super Bowl when Nick Bosa and Fred Warner went down.
Nope.
I just wanted to have some fun this season. And somehow we did. Most teams, this would have been a 6-11 record. You know, your starting quarterback goes down. One of the top 3 edge rushers is hurt. The best linebacker in the world doesn't play. Your first round rookie is injured.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that you're relying on to be your number 1 wide receiver misses 9 games. The guy that is a top 2 tight end in football misses a lot of games and now has popped his Achilles. Um, you know, all of these things were stacked against the 49ers. And we've been doing this since 2020. This is by far one of the most fun seasons I've ever had.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just want people to remember that way. And I think that the perspective of they didn't win the Super Bowl, then that means you hate football.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for you. So that means none of the years are fun. This year was fun as hell. I had a blast. You know,
Yeah.
they came here they played here against the Giants, got a chance to meet a bunch of 49ers fans. 49ers whipped their ass. That's fun. That Rams Thursday night game, that was fun as hell. You know, again, like I said, the Bears game, the 49ers went on that 6-game winning streak. You know, Seattle was just better this year. That's all you can
Yeah.
say. That there's nothing, there's no caveat, there's nothing, right? Seattle was just better. I'll even go as far as saying this. If Nick Bosa and Fred Warner were there and George Kittle, I don't know if this 49ers team still would have beaten the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to make sure we're clear about that because I'm not delusional and you guys know that. But I still love this season. I love it and I'll cherish it. And I will always remember this season. I love it because it reminds me that Kyle Shanahan is a part of this culture. This culture, they're all bought in. There's no way another team wins this many games, man. I love this season
Mm-hmm.
and I'll always remember this season fondly. Now, let's go fucking win the draft. Let's win the offseason and let's fucking get better. Okay? I know you guys are watching right now because you have nothing else to do. But yeah, I am really excited about what this offseason is going to bring,
Yep.
even if I'm not excited about the defensive coordinator pick. But I'm excited to see how this team reloads and they get some of that money back with Brandon Ayuk and they can figure things out, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
we can go now and we can start looking at how to fix this team and build a deeper roster and still get young, impactful talent, man.
Yep.
I think the 49ers are still in a good spot. And I don't really think that's up for debate. That's not something that's my opinion. I think it's an objective fact that they're in a great spot. And I think that they will do the right thing and they will get guys in here that will impact this team. But I love this season, man. I love this season. There's no way that you're gonna say anything bad about this season in front of me because I love it.
Yeah. No. And even so, I don't know if you mentioned it, but like the resurgence, I guess I'll say of McCorkle Jones, like that happened this season too, right?
Mac,
That feels like so long ago.
we're nowhere
Jason, but
near
that
we're
was-
nowhere near this without Mac.
Yeah, no, without Mac Jones, like Mac Jones, 100%. Some say the greatest number 10 quarterback in Niners history. I
Second,
might be the one to say it, but
second best.
second best. But no, yeah, it's a season that we could this easily, Jason, could have just been hey, we're talking off season because the Niners have been eliminated for 6 weeks now. because of all the injuries. But no, this was a playoff team. This was a team that was 60 minutes, 59 minutes and 47 seconds away from the NFC Championship game.
I couldn't believe when he ran back that kick. I was like, wow. I was like, I can't. I was like, this game's over.
I've never mentally checked out of a game fast.
Right, exactly. I was just like, okay.
Yep, it's good. We're done. We did it.
I went into my group chat of like friends that are my local friends, and I was like, well, that's that.
Well, I'm in a group chat with a few Niner fans, a Lions fan, a Broncos fan, and you remember how the Eagles game started because like we were kind of not nervous. You weren't nervous, but like with the Niners defense, they'd been giving up a lot of points, and the Niners and Eagles, they swapped touchdowns on the opening drives, and then the Niners went 3-and-out. And I jokingly said, would you guys get mad at me if I said the game's over? Just kind of as a joke, because the Niners defense is that bad. And they yelled at me a lot. They're like, no, like this game's not obviously right. Like Niners win. The second the kick return happened, I said the exact, hey, would you guys get mad at me if I said this game was over? And they're all like, yeah, this shit's over.
It's over. And, yeah. That's the one. That's like literally the one thing you couldn't let them do.
No. And we talked about it was special teams. You could not. We talked about it with Bryce, which by the way, hey, can't mention this year without Bryce Coots.
Shout out to Bryce, man.
Three Niners Seahawks games. He gave us great insight on all three.
Bryce is
looking
a good
forward
dude,
to talk about him later. But we talked about it was special teams. You got to win special teams.
And
13 seconds into the fucking game, they lost special teams.
It was an avalanche after that, and that's the problem, right? Like you just can't let it happen. You just can't let that happen.
You kind of remember how loud Lumen Field can get.
And when you do that right off the rip and they're dancing, like I just was like, I was like, you know what? It's gonna be one of those days, man. And I didn't think it was gonna be 41-6.
No.
I just want 49er fans to understand this too. We're gonna have to eat this one for a while, and Seahawks fans are going to be able to pop this shit. They deserve it. They earn the right to do that. Now, in the same breath, 49ers fans, when an Eagles fan tries to flex that ring that we had nothing to do with because they didn't win the Super Bowl the year that Brock tore his UCL. Mm-hmm. Just post a score of us beating them, so we can at least throw that in their face as well too. So, but yeah, it is what it is, man. Seattle was just better, but I still love this season. I still love this team, and I still love how this season went, regardless if it didn't. The Cinderella story was them even having a chance to like solidify home field advantage as the number 1 seed. But for them to win a playoff game, nothing short of a miracle with that group. So, yeah.
Perfect. Well, Jason, it was a fun season. Off-season content is coming up. We'll figure out when you'll see us next.
Senior Bowl tape.
Senior Bowl tape. I'm looking forward to it. Hey, Ruben Bain tape. I still can't believe a player.
We're not getting Ruben Bain.
Senior Bowl. I know we're not. I'm just talking in general, like a player of that caliber who doesn't feel like he has anything to prove. Going to the Senior Bowl is kind of crazy because he's top 10 pick, top 15 at worst, and he's going to the Senior Bowl. So that's pretty.
He's
cool.
going to show out. It's going to be pretty fun.
Goes to show how much the Senior Bowl's kind of grown these past few years.
Yeah.
But Jason,
a lot of Indiana Hoosiers are going as well too.
Hey man, hell of a season.
National
always.
champs. Let me also remind y'all.
Yes.
The Indiana Hoosiers are the last college program to have an undefeated NCAA basketball championship and an undefeated NCAA football championship. Just remember that.
Did you see? I'm trying to find it because I tweeted it or texted it to my friends. This might be I don't know if you saw this. If you have, I apologize, Jason. This might be the best Indiana stat I've ever seen. The Hoosiers had as many wins over AP top 10 teams this season, 6-0, as they had in their entire history as a program coming into the season, 116-1.
Yeah.
That goes to show what Indiana football did this year.
So Indiana is not a football school.
No.
It's a basketball school.
Mm-hmm. The movie's not about football.
Well, the movie's not about the Indiana Hoosiers either. It's about the Hickory High School. But same thing. But in 2 years, Cignetti has turned the laughing stock of college football into a powerhouse, and they didn't just beat teams. They beat the brakes off of teams.
Yeah.
And shout out to Miami, man. They fought. They fought hard, man. They fought in that game, man. I thought Indiana was gonna whip their ass. I had a lot of jokes for Michael Irvin. But that wasn't belt to ass. That was them winning. What was belt to ass was them beating the shit out of Oregon and Alabama and then beating Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship. That's different. But this wasn't like that. This was a good game. And shout out to that one fan that they sent out there. I started sending that around and I was like, do you know this woman's name? And too many people knew her name. And I said,
the Miami fan I keep saying?
Yes, correct.
Never seen her before. I don't know who that is.
Never seen her before? You fucking liar, Andrew Pasquini. You fucking liar.
Don't know who we're talking about. Not aware.
The cameraman knew exactly what he was doing to kiss my ass, and he's a gooner. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. You did that on purpose, and you did that absolutely on purpose. There's not a man on this earth that looked at that and didn't know who that was, man. I told, all right, put it like this, real quick. I sent it to my ex, Averly's mom, and she's in a relationship with a new dude. And I was like, yo, send this to your dude and ask him if he knows who that is or whatever. You're about to find something out about him. And she's like, who is it? And I told her who it was, and we're not going to say it on here. And she was like, no. I was like, listen, if he knows, then he's one of us. One of us.
Jason, it was a blast. Another season. I appreciate you giving me the airtime, the airwaves on this great YouTube channel. I love it.
I love you, man.
I'm excited for year 7. Looking forward to another off season. Hey, maybe the Niners trade up to 3 again, and we have some fun. But let's find out.
Francisco Mendoza, you are a San Francisco 49er, pal.
I love it. For the final time for the 2025 season, Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's fucking go Niners. We love you guys. Thank you so much.
Let's go Niners. We appreciate each and every one of you.